Welcome in to the Rob and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. Come to you from a rainy Columbia, South Carolina. My podcast co-host is in the upstate of South Carolina. He is wearing a Rutgers t-shirt this evening. He is Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Kale Hall. Kale, what's up, buddy?
Not much, Rob. Thank you for the play-by-play on my attire. You sound like you're a little bit under the weather today.
I am under the weather. I have the flu.
Oh,
you didn't give me the full look-see. I couldn't tell what color skirt you were wearing or what height, but I went
sure
with what I had.
The flu?
So there's
it's
that.
Just the flu?
Yeah, I got tested. Yeah, I don't have AIDS, I don't think. But
it's not the AIDS. It's not COVID.
No, well, we thought it was COVID, but we went and the wife got one of those tests that tests for like everything. And it says I have flu A, not B. I have flu
not
A.
Scurvy, malaria. So did the wife, did she get a test done too, or you meant she got a test for you?
She got a test for me because, as she says, she got her flu shot, so fuck you. It's basically the gist.
Well, guess what? So did this guy.
So, the same thing that I will say to you. Fuck you.
You can't be scared of needles there, sir. You gotta do what's best for you. You gotta take care. Your body is your temple, as they say.
Well, I'll try to remember that, but yeah, it's not very pleasant. But I am not like a lot of these college football players that are opting out. I'm gonna show up when I can.
Gamecock Chuck said, "Am I opting out of the second half of the show, Jackpot?" No, sir, absolutely not.
Can we talk about that, Jackpot? We goof on each other a lot, but what an absolutely disgusting display of getting into a bowl game, getting a record, and then saying, fuck it, I'm done. If I'm on an NFL draft board, I cannot take Cam Ward now ever.
No, I can't take him seriously. And as you well know, I consume a good bit of Uncle Lou's content, and we were talking yesterday about he talks a lot about Josh Pate, who he affectionately refers to as Juice Poop, and that Juice Poop always tries to put a positive spin on everything because that's his audience, and people want to hear good shit about their teams. So when your team gets beat, Juice Poop's going to find something nice to say about it, regardless. So we were wondering what kind of spin Juice Poop would put on this to make it seem okay. Well, I just played it on Twitter a few minutes ago. So Juice Poop says, hey, if I'm a Miami fan, though, I'm thinking, and he shows their schedule for the year and the rundown. But Miami was not going 10-2 without a quarterback like Cam Ward. So in essence, be happy for the season that you had. It's okay. No, that's not cool.
Well, look, so you went 10-2, and what did it get you? I mean, what did it get you? Absolutely nothing. You didn't even make the ACC championship game with a 10-2 record. You could have went 6-6 and been the same damn team, in my opinion. 10-2 is great. You were 10-2. I guess you beat Florida. Hang a banner for that. Because other than that, what a shithole. I cannot believe this kid quit mid-game after he got the record. I just
they beat,
I don't care how
Florida. They came from behind to beat Duke. Woke up in the second half and on paper blew out Wake Forest, but really didn't blow them out. I guess they beat Louisville. I guess okay. So
Rojo 780. So what we call the Colorado and BYU game? Well, a blowout.
That was just a blowout, and I mean, I picked Colorado in that contest just because they've been playing so good, and BYU kind of fell off there at the end, but that was against my better judgment because BYU is a physical team, and Colorado doesn't match up very well with physical teams. North Dakota State was a physical team. They would have lost to them in the first game of the season if they had just a little bit more depth.
Lack of depth.
Kansas was a physical team. They lost. Kansas State was a physical team. They lost. And they can beat those finesse teams like Texas Tech and
can I ask you something, Jackpot? And I'm just going to pick your football knowledge here for a second. Maybe this is just me. You can go out and sprint out and have a team that goes 9-3, 8-4, 10-2, whatever. But until you can establish yourself on both sides of the line of scrimmage, you are not going to be a team that can physically dominate people over an extended period of time. You may go 10-2, but until you can do something on both sides of the line of scrimmage, it's not going to matter. That's what Colorado has. Their offensive line is shit, and their defensive line is shit.
Yeah, they just happen to get a favorable schedule this year. That the teams that they play, they were able to work around those problems and still get wins based on just having good skill players.
Right. Do you want to pick games this evening, Jackpot? I haven't.
Let's talk about these playoff games.
Yeah,
they are what matters after all.
Well, and people get upset with me about that, but in the end, when it comes down to is that we have cheapened the bowl season so much by having these playoff games that in the end, I'm sorry, these games do not mean shit to anyone that's not a fan of those teams anymore. They don't mean anything. And people get upset with
these players pulling this kind of crap are not doing anything to help the cause.
Well, you're exactly right. If it meant so much, a guy that was in the top 5 of the Heisman voting last night would have fucking played and finished the game out. Just saying. And I'm not to pick on South Carolina, but not having Rocket Sanders and Kennard on your team makes you a less of a team. I hate to be that guy, but that's the way that it is. You're losing 2 frontline starters.
I think losing Rocket Sanders is a bigger deal than losing Kyle Kennard. You've got other guys that you can move around because you were constantly rotating guys in and out there on that defensive line anyway. There's a pretty big drop off from Rocket Sanders to Oscar Attaway I didn't realize that. I thought Oscar only rushed for like 250 yards or something this year. Thought it seems like he would have had more than that, but he
But
didn't.
a lot of that's because he didn't have an opportunity, if we're going to be completely honest, because Sanders got all the carries. I mean, that's fair. Sanders and Sellers got a shit ton of the carries.
Zona Tucson, yes, I did have a Merry Christmas. I hope you did. Hope you were able to decorate a cactus tree out there.
All right, let's look at the I'm going to pull up the thing here so we can make sure we've got the right stuff here, Jack.
Anybody ever does that? You think people like put garland and a tinsel and shit around a cactus?
Hold on, let me ask the wife. Wife, if we lived in Arizona, would you decorate a cactus for Christmas? The wife says no.
Yeah, it's probably pretty risky, I'd have to think. Probably about like fucking a porcupine.
I don't know if I'd put it on par with fucking a porcupine, but okay. Oh, goodness.
Baron Von Jack. So our buddy Sports Talk Jay, he did a live premiere on a video earlier, and I happened to be watching it. Of course, there's like 300 people watching this thing because, he's a big deal. Anyway, he was talking about, they were talking transfer portal, yada, 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 and all this. And then he started talking about the thing with Lenore Sellers. And he said, the Lenore Sellers rumors of hitting the transfer portal early when it first opened up. He's like, and I got the thing. He's always full of conspiracy theories. He said, those rumors were most likely put out there, he said, by Sellers and his agents. He's like trying to get the biggest payday. He's like, because who's going to open up the checkbook? He said the Carolina people and the NIL people. They're the ones who's going to write the check. So that's a business move. He's like, we had people getting all mad at me and saying I put out a malicious rumor. He said, we even had Carolina Jackpot out there threatening to throw cases of potato chips at me. And then he threw up some kind of meme he made of me with like potato chip bags in the background that said Baron Von Jackpot. What?
So to put that to rest, South Carolina, once they find a quarterback, they're going to pay that quarterback. That's just the way it is. Especially if it's a kid from in-state, he can pretty much write his own check. Is the way it boils down. So when you have dum-dums like Sports Talk Jay saying, oh, well, he may transfer, just worry about your hillbillies. Don't worry about people.
They're having problems of their own with the transfer portal and people leaving. You hear anything about this wide receiver, this Matthews guy?
Yeah, I heard just the stuff that everybody else has heard too. But
this is one that Clemson recruited at one time, right?
Right. The bigger scuttlebutt is about what's going to happen at Clemson, and there's been several reports out there. One of them is that Goodwin's going to leave and go be the DC at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's DC is going to go be the DC at West Virginia, and Clemson's going to hire either Coach Reed, the defensive backs coach, as the defensive coordinator, or Sweeney's going to go out and get someone else. I don't know which way he's going to go. I heard
talking about the Oklahoma co-DC who was like a Clemson. Did he go to Clemson, graduate from Clemson? His name is Zach something or other.
I don't remember. So.
But maybe he comes to Clemson, and then why would Venables not just make his co-DC his DC? If he's good enough to be the DC at Clemson, he's surely good enough to be the DC for you. Why would you let him go to West Virginia?
Let me read this super chat. So Chris from Georgia isn't here again after a loss. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, he wasn't here last week, I don't think, either.
Peckerhead says, another nepotism hire, huh? Yep, that's exactly what it is. If he hires Mike Reed, it is a nepotism hire. Oh, that's just it.
Sorry. Well, maybe Mike Reed maybe he's full of knowledge, Maybe he can coach him up.
Jesus.
Who knows? Probably not.
ReliaQuest Bowl, Alabama's a 12.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Tide, Jackpot.
Against Michigan.
Did you see where teams like their bands working out on the beach are like doing fucking yay, beat the Tide on the beach? It's like, what the hell are you doing? You could tell those fuckers have never seen the sun in the winter.
Is everybody playing for Alabama in the bowl game?
They have enough to beat Michigan if the second string plays.
Yeah, I'd probably take them too, but I mean, just keep in the back of your mind, I mean, what they did to Ohio State. I mean,
Louisville is a 2.5-point favorite over Washington in the Sun Bowl. I'm gonna go with the Ville.
I'll take Washington. The ACC's been down bad in bowls, been down real bad. The trend is your friend.
All right, then we have the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. South Carolina's a 9.5-point favorite over Illinois. Jackpot, I don't know if you put anything out on that yet or not, but from what I've read, Illinois is not going to have their best two players due to the.
Well, I know their wide receiver opted out as soon as the game was announced. He had like 1,000 yards receiving on the year. Who else has opted out for them? Or
I think it's their quarterback too opted out, right? Their starting quarterback
when did this happen?
Maybe I'm wrong, Jackpot. I've got the flu and haven't been keeping up.
I don't think he's like NFL material though. You know what I mean?
Let's see here. Illinois opt-outs. Either way, I think South Carolina is going to win the football game. Opt-outs.
Yeah, I do too. I went back and I talked about this yesterday. I went back and watched some Illinois highlights of the season, and I watched what the running quarterback for Purdue did to them back in October, and I'm just convinced that Lenore Sellers can do the same thing, just worse.
All right, so Pat Bryant is the only opt-out for Illinois. Yeah. Illinois got a full roster going against you besides their best wide receiver. So, you know what? 9.5 points is steep. I think South Carolina will win, but I'll go with Illinois in the points.
Yeah, I got to roll with the Gamecocks. I think we'll win that thing by double digits.
You probably will. In the Texas Bowl, LSU plays Baylor. Baylor's a 2-point favorite. I'm taking LSU.
Against Baylor. Baylor's hot though at the end of the year. Give me the old Bruiser Bears. The old Bruiser Bears.
All right, first playoff game, Fiesta Bowl. Penn State is an 11-point favorite over Boise State. I know you love Penn State, Jackpot, but I don't know. I'm not impressed. I'm going to take Boise State plus 11.
Yeah, I'm going to have to roll with Penn State in that one. I mean, it's just Boise State. It's just schedule. I mean, this is the teams they've played. I mean, they're just not battle tested. They don't have the lines of scrimmage. I don't think they have the depth to compete with the Penn State. I don't know. I just think it could get ugly for them. Penn State got a good run defense too. So you're not going to take him away, but if you limit Ashton Genty and you force Boise to do something else, I mean, can they? Maybe they could do something else if you were playing Wyoming, but I don't think you're going to be able to just turn that offense on a dime and shift your game plan around that against a team like Penn State.
Next matchup's the Peach Bowl. Texas is a 13.5-point favorite over Arizona State. I've got Arizona State plus the points. I think Arizona State might beat them. So I'm going to take Arizona State plus the points. Good old Scattaboo keeping the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with them too. That's a lot of points. Texas. I don't know. They didn't really impress me that much against Clemson. I mean, they can run the football, but they seem to be kind of one-dimensional too. I don't know. Their defense is good, and they may be able to limit scattered boo-boo, and that's sort of the same thing However, I think that Arizona State can do other things as well, other than just hand the ball off to scattered boo boo. I think they may be able to kind of attack Texas vertically through the air as well. So, yeah, I like that one. I think that'll be a good matchup.
Next matchup is the Rose Bowl, Ohio State against Oregon. Ohio State is giving 2.5 points. This is to an Oregon team that they've already lost to this season. An Ohio State team that handled Tennessee after Tennessee ran their dick suckers for a long time. I still think Oregon's the better team. I'm going to take Oregon plus 2.5.
I just think I don't know. With Ohio State, I don't know if they are a really really good team. However, you got to think. I mean, Tennessee's offense is totally centered around Dylan Sampson, and he carried 2 times in that game for like 6 yards and didn't play the rest of it. They really didn't have. They didn't have any other way to attack Ohio State other than that. So, I think was Ohio State's huge victory there. Was it just based off that, or was it based off Ohio State was just really, really good? I gotta think Ohio State's really, really good. I mean, they've got a ton of talent there, and I think if they're just hitting on all cylinders, they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country. That said, though, I don't have a reason to not pick Oregon. I mean, they can get hot too. So, just having rolled the dice here, I'm just going to go with Oregon hasn't shat the bed this year. That's basically the only thing. I mean, they haven't really had any real disappointing performances, and they've had a couple that were a little bit closer than you'd like it to be. But I mean, Ohio State has. So I guess I'm going to roll with Oregon on that one. Although I feel less confident in that one than I do just about anything.
Next matchup is the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame and Georgia. I think there's a lot of love for Notre Dame. They're a 2-point favorite here, but I think Georgia's the more – help me here, Jackpot. I just like Georgia here. I really, really do. I know that Beck's not going to be the quarterback, and this you would think would be the game where Notre Dame would come out and just, try to take advantage of that. But this will be the most physical team that Notre Dame has played all season. And I think Georgia's going to just continuously pound their face into the sand until they come out and they win. So I'll take Georgia plus 2.
I'm gonna veer away from traditional belief here. I think Notre Dame pulls this off because Georgia's starting an inexperienced quarterback. Yeah, I know he provided some spark there at the end of that game or the second half of last week's game, but they damn near lost it too. And I just this one's a tough one for me. It's tough. Georgia's had some pretty disappointing performances this year. I mean, they've been kind of Jekyll and Hyde. Now they kind of hit a little bit of a stretch there at the end of the season where they played really good. But I think that for the first time in a long, long time, Notre Dame finally wins a big game. And I think they kind of get – I think this is still considered a mild upset regardless of who's favored.
Yeah.
Notre Dame gets them.
Gator Bowl has Duke and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 14.5-point favorite. Jackpot, I goof about Lane Kiffin and everything, but I don't think he gets his team rallied up for a bowl game that he doesn't think they belong in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they'll win, but I think Duke will cover the 14.5. And I'm not just saying that because it's Duke. He's got those mercenary players, and I just don't think they give a shit, Jackpot. I really don't.
I don't think they do either. I think he's got a bunch of Juice Wells on his team.
Yeah.
But That said, Duke doesn't have a quarterback.
That's true.
That kid went ahead and transferred out. Now they'll start. They'll roll with the kid from up here in Gaffney, South Carolina, Grayson Loftus, sophomore, against Ole Miss, and I don't see him having a whole lot of success. So I'm gonna take Ole Miss to cover it there. Probably win by about 3 touchdowns.
First Responder Bowl has North Texas and Texas State. Texas State is a 14-point favorite. I'll take Texas State.
I'll take Texas State too. Who gives a fuck bowl? What? Who knows about anything about either one of those bowls?
I know Texas State has a good quarterback.
Well, he opted out.
Did he opt out?
He opted out.
Yeah, well, I'll still take Texas State. Fuck a directional school. Duke's Mayo Bowl, Minnesota and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a 7.5-point dog here. I don't think Virginia Tech is that good. Give me Minnesota minus 7.
Yeah, I'll give Minnesota too. The ACC strength utility continues in bowl games, and Minnesota's pretty good. I mean, they're a pretty good ball team. That must beat Penn State.
Yeah.
They beat the Illinois team that the Gamecocks are playing Tuesday on the road. Tickets for that ball game are like $80.
Yeah.
Surely God, it's going to drop before then. I mean, come on now. But Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Yeah. The Bahamas Bowl, Buffalo -2, Liberty +2. Give me Buffalo -2.
Yeah, give me the Fighting Pete Limbos.
And then finally, the FCS Championship. North Dakota State and Montana State. Montana State is undefeated, but I like North Dakota State +3 here because they play physical football, sir.
Well, since I just so happened to add their helmet to my collection, it was one of the last ones I added.
All right.
I'm going to roll with Montana State.
There you go.
Yeah, they played in week 0, Rob.
Who?
Montana State did. Remember? They played New Mexico, remember?
Oh, yeah.
You had Tim Brando and somebody else. I mean, some pretty big name, big time announcers announcing that game on Fox because basically there wasn't anything else on.
Yeah. All right, let's give you guys an opportunity to join the show here. Put the link over here.
Did I ever give you a chance to show off the drawing that my son had done for me for my birthday?
No, I didn't see that, buddy.
Yeah, that's well, what is this? Yeah, a friend of my son. It was his girlfriend, either his girlfriend or fiance, who did this. I showed it off in a video, but anyway, they that drawing. This girl actually did that drawing. My son sent her a video. That is Demetrius Knight's interception against Clemson. He sent her a video of the whole entire play, and she got that still shot there from it. And
I like that.
Yeah, except for my son didn't like the touch where she added the gloves because he's a linebacker. He didn't wear gloves, but it's still cool. She did a good job with it too, in that.
It's a good job. Yeah, it's a nice little piece to the jackpot helmet room there.
He starts at $10, Billy Cole. You can kiss my ass.
Yeah, that's not nice, Billy.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Not nice.
That's not nice at all. Being disrespectful to me and that.
Yeah. Why are you? why is Billy being rude to you? He's old.
I'm gonna tell on him.
I don't know. All right, I'll put the link over here.
You made me mess up. Now you made me lose my concentration, and I'm gonna have to put this back up later.
There you go.
Picture's gonna be down. My picture's gonna be down bad.
Jackpot, don't you drop that picture.
I ain't gonna drop it.
All right, just saying, you drop it, fucking me and you might have to fight. We don't need that. Anyway, Tiger Red Devil says he's probably grumpy.
Getting old, not being able to see sucks. I'll put that back up later. I have to put my glasses on to see the hole.
Put your glasses on to see the hole. Okay.
To see that hole, yeah, because it's small and tiny.
Welcome in, Peckerhead.
Good evening and night. How are y'all doing?
How are you, Peckerhead?
Better than we deserve.
Well, as you see, our coach is gearing up for another football game. You know, some of you guys who are watching, you don't have the luxury of watching football anymore. Watching your team, at least,
Right, because we played in a playoff game, which actually matters.
did you?
Bowl games don't matter.
Did it not?
Sorry.
Did it matter? Where did it get you?
We played for a playoff spots. We played in the playoffs, sir. Or so let me get the record here. You think that being in the Citrus Bowl is better than being in the playoffs? Yes or no?
I think that losing, getting back.
Don't.
If you want my answer, don't cut me off.
I will mute you. You have a yes or no, answer.
I'm not answering yes or no. Bullshit.
Then you're fucking stupid.
Ask a yes or no question if you want a yes or no answer.
Yeah, it's a yes or no answer.
If he wants
playoff game or Citrus Bowl, which is
if he wants
better?
The actual answer that he doesn't want to hear, I would rather go to the Citrus Bowl versus getting absolutely fucking curb stomped in the playoffs first round and then having no football to watch. That's what I would rather.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah. I mean, you can say you made the playoffs, but you fucking got dick stomped. You at no point did anybody think, man, Clemson might win this game. Clemson might go to the national championship. No point. At no point did anybody think that.
Well, I mean, I was a little bit apprehensive, but then they kicked the ball off to start the game, and then that removed all doubt.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like that. Yeah, you can say you made the playoffs, but you got bounced. You know, I wouldn't be proud of that person.
Let me respond to Chuck over in the comment section. Not Gamecock Chuck. This is Chuck. Where did it go? Chuck Bartlow says, Jack Potter, am I coming to Columbia, Missouri next year? Maybe
sit here and fuck each other off about going to an opt-out bowl game. Just kind of wave your hand, and I'll be happy to rejoin the show. But I will not sit here and then try to say that going to a fucking Citrus Bowl is better than going to a playoff game. That is next level fucking stupid. I'm not putting my name behind that. Sorry. So when you're ready,
now if he wasn't under the damn weather, I'd rip him a new one right now. Yeah. But he's under the weather, and I'm not.
He's acting a real asshat, ain't he?
I can't get. I'm not sure that he's not faking being under the weather because he just doesn't want us to rip into him.
I mean, it could be the case. By the way, what's this? I don't think this has been brought up yet. ACC record and bowl games. Ugh.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, well, you got to think Clemson and SMU both lost their playoff games, so that counts
in large fashion. None of them were close.
Yeah. Blowouts. And then thank God for Syracuse. Like TGIF, thank God for the fruit.
He's been carrying some weight for that conference since that last game of the regular season.
I mean, he already went out there publicly and said, Dabo, I did you one, bro.
Mm-hmm.
After he won that game, and then they couldn't repay the favor. I mean, so then he had to just go on out and win another game on Friday to prove that the fruit's for real.
Well, you want to know something odd about that coach you might not know as well. He doesn't shower if they don't win.
What's that?
He doesn't shower if they don't win.
He doesn't shower after the game, or
no, at all. At all, he doesn't shower unless they win.
Until they play another game?
Yeah, until they play another game and win, he doesn't shower.
Well, what does he do during the offseason when there are no games to play?
I'd imagine, hopefully, he showers, but maybe
I would hope for his wife's sake that's the case.
But could you? I just remember in the I heard it because I watched that full speech you were talking about, and they talked about it. Excuse me. And his motto is like, "Winner's shower." What? And they asked him, "What are you going to go do right after this game?" He's like, "I'm taking a shower." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Winter shower." The dude doesn't shower if his team loses.
That is the weirdest thing. Maybe he's got some kind of. That's just weird. That's just weird.
It's odd, right?
It's very odd.
But
a lot of these guys have some weird superstitious and that.
He's from the Kirby tree. What he coached at Georgia?
Was he wide receivers coach? Maybe.
I'm not quite sure. That'd be quite the upgrade going from wide receivers coach to head coach.
Well, they don't really use their wide receivers that much. They can't catch a damn ball hardly. So
that's what I'm saying.
He obviously wasn't doing much down there. Maybe he was just sitting back and learning. I guess
that's another thing.
I was a defensive backs coach. Said okay.
DBs. That makes a little more sense. Their DBs.
Okay. Sorry, he wasn't wide receivers coach.
Well,
he did do a little work.
Casey Concepcion, I get he's an absolute NIL merchant, but what wide receiver would want to go and die at Texas A&M? I mean, they haven't put out a good fucking wide receiver since Mike Evans. I mean, what?
Yeah.
What
the one kid, Evan Stewart, who's plays for Oregon, he's from Texas A&M. He transferred there because hot dog water, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Texas A&M is an absolute shithole, and they're losing their best passing quarterback. They're going to Marcel Reed this year. It's going to be a fucking nothing but a option fest. I mean, this dude ain't a passer.
So that's where he's going?
Yeah, Texas A&M. And I thought it wasn't – I didn't even know he was in the picture. I thought it was like Carolina and Michigan or something like that.
It was Carolina, Michigan, a couple of other schools I saw in there. Oh, fuck him. I mean, we'll find ourselves. We're not done signing people out of the portal, and I mean they've already proven they're not gonna. Yeah, I'm sure they spent a good bit of money to get old. What's his name? I'm sure that he cost a little bit. And then that contract they gave Lenore Sellers is massive, but he's worth it.
Oh, he's worth every dime. He's just got to keep progressing though. But the thing is. I think, like you said, a lot of people use the portal, but they don't use it effectively. Beamer is one of those guys where if he's taking you, he's going to put you to fucking work. Unless you're just purely a depth piece coming in. He takes a couple of those. But if we're getting like somebody decent, they tend to be a baller. I mean, Demetrius Knight was a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Kennard, transfer. Josh Simon, transfer. Who else? I mean, down the line, Rocket transfer.
Rocket was a transfer.
Down the stretch, old Delvon.
Corselli Simpkins was a transfer.
Delvon Campbell came on big down there.
Yeah, he was a transfer.
I mean, when Beamer goes to the portal, you can't say this for a lot of other coaches. He takes quality players. A lot of players.
He takes players they're going to use. Jared Brown was a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Gage was a transfer.
Oh yeah, pretty much everybody who he took had their own impact on the season. Now, granted, Gage Larvidan did fuck us on a couple deep passes, namely Alabama and what was the other one? LSU. I think he dropped two.
I think so. He was kind of a disappointment. I thought he was going to be.
Can't give him credit for that one, but every other one, I mean, it's been a hit. And I'm excited for this transfer portal class. I hate it that Andrew Brown. I mean, that's just, like I said, everything wrong with college football. Or Andrew Jones, whatever the hell his name was.
Well, then they said after the thing was, when did he ever say, where did he say he was coming to South Carolina at? Where was this? Did he put it on his social media? Was this just verbal? I mean, I need context here.
Well, I never saw. I know for a fact he put it on his social media too. I'm assuming there had to be something official for it to get to that point where it's, making headlines.
Well, then he turned around, from what I understand, tried to set up a visit to go to Oregon.
I don't get it. I think he was using South Carolina as a negotiation tool. I don't think he ever honestly wanted to go there. And from what I heard,
somebody said, he ended up, he went to Ole Miss. Well, he's from somewhere, Louisiana, and they said, Well, he wanted Ole Miss is closer to home, and okay, well, why in the fuck was he coming to visit South Carolina then? I think some of these dudes just do some of this shit and go on some of these visits just so they can get some free food, free entertainment, get wined and dined and pampered around for a day or two.
Well, shit, wouldn't you?
Basically, like a spa day.
Wouldn't you, Kale?
Probably.
Shit, sign me up. I'd do it. Why not? If you got the option. But what I don't agree with is, from what I read, Ole Miss's NIL deal was essentially the same as South Carolina's, so it wasn't even an NIL thing. From what I read,
closer to home.
Yeah,
I mean, did that fucker not know on a damn map where Columbia, South Carolina was? Shit,
exactly right. Exactly right. And here's, you know what? You want to know what the country's not ready to hear, Kale?
What's that?
What if Jaden Sellers is the same caliber 3-star as his brother, and we just got the next grade? That's what they're not ready to hear, Kale.
Ooh, yeah.
How nice is that going to be?
You might want to keep that under wraps.
I'm telling you, they're going
to start losing their shit here.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
you'll have Clemson fans start moving out of state.
Hey, but
they'll start putting on that baby blues. They're putting on the baby blues. Say they've been Bill Belichick fans their entire life. They're gonna change teams if they hear that.
Did you see that absolutely piss poor performance by Jaden Lucas, by the way, in the playoffs? I forgot to talk about that. I mean, that dude was absolute burnt toast.
That's Malden, South Carolina's finest.
I thought he was a 5-star.
I think he was a 4-star.
Was he?
Maybe, I don't know.
God, they gotta have better than that. I mean, he was lost out there. The dude might as well had a blindfold on halfway out through the game. Just every time they threw his way, 30 yards. I mean, that wouldn't happen. Personally, I don't think that happens on a Torian Gray coach defensive back.
Chuck says, I understand you Gamecocks are feeling real good about yourselves that Brady Cook had you beat with a broken wrist at your house. There's only one problem with that. The scoreboard at the end of the game had South Carolina 34, Mizzou 30 on it. So
that's just a low IQ.
Now, South Carolina had them down by 2 touchdowns at one point.
Know your circle jerk?
Do what?
Maybe not. Oh, I pulled my headset out. That's not good. Hold on.
Yeah, South Carolina allowed them back in that game with poor play.
Listen, Missouri.
You guys done with your circle jerk? You still. Who's the pivot man here? You guys still doing your thing?
What are you yapping about, sir?
I'm just. Are you guys still like talking about how the Citrus Bowl is better?
We're over here having a convo.
Yeah, I'm over here carrying the weight of the show because the co-host takes off his down.
You couldn't carry my fucking jockstrap.
I had to right there. I had to carry the weight of the show. I was co-host right there, basically. But back to what I was saying, Missouri, absolute don't. Nobody's scared of you, dog. Come on. Like, what hole did you crawl out of? I haven't seen a Missouri fan in so long. What hole did you crawl out of?
We have a few of them around here. They know I have respect for Mizzou. I mean, I like Mizzou. I mean, I do have respect for them. I don't know. I mean, I think they might regress a little bit next year. They're going to be.
Do you see what pieces?
Let me know when they stop with the circle jerk because I'm not.
We're talking about Mizzou, you ding-a-ling.
Did you see what quarterback they got?
Better than a playoff berth.
They got Bo Pribula.
This conversation.
The guy from Penn State.
Yeah, they got Bo. He's going to be their starting quarterback.
Just so you know, I took my.
Well, I know Coach Franklin was all kind of upset about him.
Don't let me know when you guys stop trying to blow
talking to.
I don't know what he's talking. He's just creating arguments.
You have an imaginary friend over there that
he's
you're having a convo with. I know Coach Franklin was upset about him transferring and he wasn't going to be available for the SMU game.
Well, the thing is,
but they have some kind of rule if you enter the transfer portal, you can't play.
The fact that Maria Taylor is taller than her 3 co-hosts, and they don't say anything about it.
What's he talking
They're looking up at her like, man, that's a very tall woman.
But what the Pribula, the thing with that is, I mean, you look at the Carolina took a better backup than they could get starter. I know they wanted Miller Moss early, but to hitch your wagon early on Pribula just seems a bit odd to me because the dude was only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school.
I don't have to listen to this, but I can bring Tiger Red Devil into the show. Let's bring him into the show.
Yeah, he's a good addition.
Here you go. There's Tiger Red.
I don't really know anything about Vesperbula.
Yeah, no, he has so
What's up,
little
Rob?
tape.
Hey, man, you're a champ, dude. That's all I want to say. I don't care what anybody says. You're on here with the flu. You know damn well Peckerhead's going to get on here and get under your skin.
I hadn't even said anything wrong. I hadn't said anything. I hadn't even been out
I'll
of pocket.
ask him.
I heard it.
I asked him a simple yes or no question, and
It wasn't yes or no.
cannot answer it. So I don't have the patience for that shit off game. Or go to the Citrus Bowl. Which is better?
It wasn't
Well,
a yes or no
if
game.
you hadn't, okay, I understand what Peckerhead was saying. We got beat, but it was damn well. Kale and Andrew would not stop talking about them going to the college football playoff. Period.
Yeah, I would have liked to go into the playoff. That doesn't detract from what I said. I would rather go to a bowl game if we're going to get our ass kicked round one in the playoff.
Yeah.
It was a 7-point game at
Well,
one
that's
time.
a victim's mentality, and I expect that from a Gamecock fan that has been.
Well, it was 0-0 when they kicked the ball off.
It was 0-0 at one point. No, I think
That's fine.
Tiger Red Devil is as sensible as they come. I think he fully understands what I'm saying. And I don't even think it's headphones throwing worthy of a statement. I think that's a pretty fair statement.
Well, to
Yeah,
be
awful.
fair, I
Why
was
can't you
raised.
just answer the question?
I did answer.
Why can't
the
you just
question.
answer the
You
question?
took your headphones off.
It's a simple question. Is it
I did
is it
answer.
better to go to the playoff or the Citrus Bowl? Which one's
Am I
better?
gonna get my ass kicked when I go to the playoffs?
But
That
you don't
doesn't
know
matter.
that.
Is it
You don't
better
know
to
that.
go to the playoff or the Citrus Bowl? Is it better to go to the playoff or the Citrus Bowl?
If I don't know
Which
going
one?
in,
Which
I'll give you your answer.
one's better?
Are you gonna cut me off? I'll give
Which
you your
one's
answer.
better?
Are you gonna cut me off?
All right, so you have a victim's
You're gonna cut
mentality.
me off?
So I'd rather not compete for a national title. You should just take and get rid of your entire program with that logic, because you get your ass kicked anyway all the time. So
Are you ready for the answer now? Or are you done yapping? All right. Clearly
I
I can
already
answer.
gave you an
Okay.
opportunity to
Yeah.
answer. I don't need a fucking 15-minute monologue. It's
You ever
simple.
think we'll
I would
see
rather go to the
anybody
playoff.
that's seated
I would
below
rather go
fourth
to
in those
Citrus.
playoffs to win the thing?
Probably not.
No.
No.
If
Nope.
I don't know going into the game that I'm going to get my ass kicked and there's no chance I'm going to win the game, and I'm not a 11-point underdog on the Vegas line, yeah, I'd rather go to the playoffs. But when given the context of your playoff run, I would much rather go to the Citrus Bowl than what you did in the playoffs, sir.
Well, then you have a loser's mentality, sir. You are
No.
a loser mentality.
Is that what that
program.
is? Is that
The
what that
idea
is?
of I'd rather not compete for a national title, but I'd rather go to the Citrus Bowl. That is a loser mentality.
You know, the Citrus Bowl is the best bowl game right outside the playoffs.
Here you
Yeah.
go. Here's the chat even agrees with me. Playoff, take that ass whipping and learn from it. Come back
Oh, the
better.
chat agrees with you.
Inferiority
Oh.
complex.
Wayne's a Tennessee fan. He knows about those ass
Yeah,
whoopings.
he knows about an ass whooping in round one, don't he?
So, but here's the thing: you've never known anything about being in the playoffs.
Is that so?
Not even. Yeah, you've never
Well,
been in the
thing
playoffs.
is with
Tell me
that,
about
Rob,
your playoff.
we don't have the. we
Tell
don't
me
have the
about your playoff team.
We don't have.
Can
are
you
done?
tell me about your playoff team? No, you can't, because you don't have a playoff team. You have
Rob,
a
if you
team
keep
that-
talking over me, I'm about to go off on you. I promise you, sir.
Well,
If
I
you
don't
better
give a
just
fuck.
calm
What are you
down.
gonna do, take my
I don't
fucking
give a
birthday
fuck
away?
if you have the
I don't give
flu.
a
I'm gonna
shit.
go off on you. You realize your
What do you
game
think?
only had 6 million more viewers unopposed than the Citrus Bowl
Don't
last
care.
year. You fucking schmuck.
Don't care.
No, it had
You
two.
realize
No.
Your game, your game, unopposed.
It had 1.8
Tell 'em,
million
Kale.
more viewers
Tell him,
than the
Kale.
Citrus Bowl last year as an unopposed game.
Unopposed game. And
This
and
year, the Citrus
Yeah.
Bowl is going to have more people watching it because it's got the Gamecocks in it.
and
Last
this
year,
dude
it
gets
had
on his
Tennessee
soapbox
in
and
it.
just bloviates. By the way, let's not mention bowl games don't matter, but this
Oh.
absolute schmuck goes on Facebook ranting SEC peckerheads, you lost to a service academy. Look at you. You suck. What happened to that SEC bias?
Right. We never hear anything about the SEC and their losses and the fact that they lost to a service
do bowl
academy.
games matter when the ACCs went like 1-9 or whatever the hell
I've
it is?
said
The ACC lost to a group of 5 academy.
They don't matter.
2 of them.
They don't matter.
You can't keep up. So let me
matter.
explain to you. I said this 3 years ago, and you'll need this when Illinois beats your ass.
Who's the slow one? Who's the slow one? Me or the person who thinks Pittsburgh's better than South Carolina?
No,
who's the slow one?
3 ACC
Who's the slow one? Me or the
schools
person who
lost to
thinks Pittsburgh's better than South Carolina?
Sure that you hear.
Who's the slow one?
Pittsburgh lost to Toledo.
I don't get the Pittsburgh's better.
Pittsburgh lost to Toledo? Oh my God.
Pittsburgh lost to Toledo. North Carolina lost to UConn. And North Carolina State lost to fucking ECU. So that's 3 ACC teams that lost a group of 5.
Hey, I know what you're going to say, Tiger Red Devil. You're a sensible Clemson fan. You hear this guy? It's gotten sad. It's gotten so sad.
You think that going to the playoffs is worse than going to the season?
Hey, is Pittsburgh better than South Carolina?
Yep.
Oh, they are.
I do. I truly think so.
That tells you.
You're not that
all
good.
you need to hear. Anybody who agrees with this schmuck, he thinks Pittsburgh's better than South Carolina. They just lost to Toledo.
I think that Vanderbilt's
Toledo in multiple overtimes, like 4 overtimes, they lost to Toledo.
Holy shit! I didn't even know they played football in Toledo.
What's going to be your excuse when you lose to Illinois? What happens then?
I thought you said we're beating Illinois.
I thought you said
You
that.
may lose to Illinois. I don't know with your fucking shit.
You said we may lose to them.
I don't know. What was your
Flip-flop.
excuse when you got your ass kicked by Texas? Maybe I would go with that.
Well, we lost in a playoff game, something you've never
What was your
experienced.
excuse,
Don't
though?
talk to me about
What was your
football.
excuse? I'll probably go with that.
Here,
We
look,
lost
here's the
to a
thing.
better
You
team.
can talk to
Okay.
me.
I'll
We
probably
lost
go
to a
with
better
that.
team. Now, here's the thing. When I want an opinion from you about sports, I will talk to you about women's hoops. Other than that, your opinion's not really worth a shit.
Is that why you've gotten every single thing wrong and everything I've said has been right throughout this college football
You
season?
get your opinion on 17-14 also.
That is true.
Not true.
That is true.
Completely true.
That is true. I said we win every game after Oklahoma. You said I was crazy.
You get one. South Carolina to win every fucking game. Eventually, you're going to get one right. You said you were going to win. You said you were going to win. Whatever, dude.
I said South Carolina was better than Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh was undefeated. You said they weren't. How did that work out? Oh, but your football knowledge is so great.
Your fucking team has never won anything. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, no,
and
Rob. Oh, what are you talking about?
Die. To hear you.
Dude, if I want your football opinion, put it this way, I'll never want your football opinion. All right. That's all I need to say.
Look at the national titles that my team's won. Remember, my team won a national title before your team won a bowl game. So
hey, can everybody in the chat believe that the guy who thinks Pittsburgh is better than South Carolina had ACC and SEC
I think everybody's better than you.
Can anybody believe that?
I think everybody's.
That's the level of the media.
There are 9 teams this year that would beg to differ with you on that.
That's the level of sports media. This guy who thinks Pittsburgh is better than South Carolina right now had a vote in SEC and ACC.
I do.
Freaking.
Yep.
He started saying that at the beginning of the season. He said it at the beginning of the season. Now at the beginning of the season, Jackpot and Rob SEC bias. Did you guys think you guys were going 9-3?
No, I definitely thought 8-4.
Not at the beginning, but he didn't say it at the beginning. He said it. He did not say it at the beginning. He said it when Oklahoma, right before Pittsburgh lost their first game. He said it like 5 weeks into the year.
Trying to help out Rob.
No, I keep files.
Respectfully, I don't need your help. And arguing with simpletons about football when they think that a Citrus Bowl berth is better than a playoff berth, I don't have to say anything else.
Mike Bridges addressing this to Peckerhead, but he could address this to me too. Says Carolina really hasn't been relevant, man. You can't talk much shit. Y'all had a good year, but Georgia, man, who's the last team to beat your ass at home?
That's true. That's a good question.
Who's the last team that beat your ass? Oh, I know it's been a long time.
Wasn't
Y'all
it
had
Ryan,
a good run. You've had good
Yeah.
teams. No.
wasn't it Ryan Helinski's third leg?
Yeah, well, it was, I believe.
I think so, because he hurt both of them. The carry-on had to come in, but his third leg pulled him through. A nice deep touchdown to Brian Edwards in the corner.
What year was it?
2019. That's
Yep. Pick
what's
six.
great. If you think about it, South Carolina, we're the home killers. I mean,
That was the game of the great Rodrigo Blankenship shot down the back of both
Foggy goggles. Legs. Oh, foggy goggles.
I was listening to that game on the way to Litchfield. I remember that.
Really?
Well, half my family's Carolina, the other half's Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid. I was closer with my dad as far as football. My mom went to
Well, that's awesome. I know your Tiger Red Devil deserves some praise. He's a very sensible guy.
Yeah, I live streamed the second half or the fourth quarter of that game. That was like, I didn't live stream games back then because I never really thought about doing it or whatever. But I did live stream me watching the fourth quarter of that game and the subsequent overtime. It was great.
Well, as a sensible ACC fan, I would like your opinion because we haven't heard it yet from a sensible ACC fan. What is your outlook on the draft, the bowl game results?
I don't root for conferences, dickhead.
I'm not talking.
Let's make sure that we understand that only losers.
I'm not talking to you. Take your headphones off,
dude. I've had enough of shit. Say there you go. I'll just boot you from the fucking studio. Watch this.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
kick you from the studio.
You're gonna hurt my feelings.
Dickhead.
Don't boot me, please.
You don't root for conferences. You don't root for conferences, but you bash conferences. So the opposite is true.
You got to kick me. I'm not leaving.
Alrighty then.
There you go. How'd that work out? Watch the show in silence, dickhead. Run your mouth all fucking night. Fuck off.
As far as bowl game goes. But anyways, it was good seeing you guys.
You too. We must do this again sometime.
Wonderful.
All right, bye.
Let's see here. Who else wants to join the program this evening?
Oh, wow. Congrats. You haven't beat Georgia and I haven't done a damn thing. Oh, we hadn't done a damn thing. We didn't do a damn thing this year. Forgive me, sir. Down the stretch of the season, everybody was saying South Carolina's the one team nobody wants to face. Didn't the damn soul say we don't want to face Georgia? How's that working out? How's that working out there?
Jackpot is correct upon that.
Yeah.
Jackpot is correct.
They were admiring our quarterback. They were laughing at yours. They were admiring our quarterback.
That's true. Billy, welcome to the program.
Same old stuff, isn't it?
I just get tired of it, man. He's sitting there and it's like he comes on and runs his mouth the entire time, and you say anything to him and he starts yelling. And then he wants to, I want to beef up on you. Fuck you. Watch in silence, dude. Get your own show and we'll go watch that.
And his brother over here in the comment section, Chris Knight, wants me to come over there and spar with him. I'm not sparring with him. The maturity level, jeepers Christ. I was waiting for him to start.
Let me ask you the whole question of the evening, Billy. Is it better to go to the playoff or the Citrus Bowl?
Oh, I think the playoff would be better for your recruiting. I mean, that's a reward for the players. It's about competition. So, yeah, Tennessee got their ass handed to them. And if Ohio State plays like they did, they got their ass handed to them. And, winning teams get to go and losing teams don't. If you want to put it that way. So
what about teams that win 9 games? I mean, would you call that a losing team?
Well, they didn't make the playoffs.
Well, they're not a losing team, though.
No, by record.
They won way more games than they lost. And as a matter of fact, they won about 75% of their games.
But they didn't qualify for the playoffs. And that's what it's all about. They
qualified. They just weren't chosen.
They met all
the criteria.
So, criteria. What else would you go by? Do you really think South Carolina should have been in the playoffs? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
Oh, shit.
You see, look, here's
Holy
the
crap.
difference. Hold on.
Yeah, what's the difference? Who's South Carolina's worst loss to? An 8-4 team. What was your worst loss to? A 6-6 team.
That lost to Texas by
You lost to a 6-6 team.
There's no sense of doing this. You lost to Mississippi 28-3. And you
You
barely
lost
got
to
past
27-3, and you lost to a 6-6 team.
Now tell us about Old Dominion.
You lost to a 6-6 team. You beat Kentucky by a touchdown.
Now tell us about Old Dominion.
What about Old Dominion? I don't know what they finished up.
No. It took 2 turnovers and a comeback for you to beat them. For South Carolina.
Well, yeah.
To beat them. So
we beat them, though. We beat them.
Play this all day.
Did we beat them? I think we did. Let me go check.
Yeah, you beat them barely. Thank God they fumbled the
That's
ball
not beat Old Dominion.
inside their 5.
We beat them.
Well, the bottom line is the teams that deserved to get in the playoffs got in. The ones that didn't. Alabama shouldn't be in either. All they had to do was beat.
It's all subjective.
It's all. Oh, here we go now with the excuse. All we had to do is.
It's all subjective. The best team saying is all subjective. We can say, yes, they put the best ones in that they had available based on their record. So they put the best ones in, and the ones who won their conferences, they put them in based off of record. But we don't know how things would have played out if the other teams had gotten in. So, there ain't no way of knowing it. So that's what I'm saying. It's all subjective.
There's no best 12 teams.
Doesn't matter anyway. All the ones that were fringe were booted. So.
Yeah. So if the best thing to do is for each conference needs to submit their 4 best teams. Just submit your 4 best teams and let the
Rat Dog says, Cox lost 25% of the games. Okay, you and Tennessee lost 20% of yours. That's just so superior.
20% of what?
You lost 20% of your games. We lost 25% of ours, though.
What is this whittling it down to? I was waiting for Peckerhead.
You asked me, they're arguing me in the comment section. I'm just not going to take their shit.
How big their equipment room manager is this year at South Carolina. And, he comes up with some of the stupidest stuff.
Yep, Mike, and we wouldn't have been afraid to play y'all's ass either. And probably would have beat that ass. Especially if that game was in Columbia.
Well, that's subjective.
Well, that's subjective, but
Jackpot, you're the one that goes with the history and the numbers. At 29-11, do you think South Carolina would beat Tennessee?
At 29-11, what are you talking about?
All-time record.
Do I think we would have beaten them this year?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. That's what you think.
Yes. I mean, South Carolina allowed 3.4 yards per rush this year. Mm-hmm. Your entire offense was centered around that running back. He wouldn't have done anything against South Carolina.
Right. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And they'd have had Nico pooping out the back of that grass skirt.
You know what's going to be bad, and I hope it doesn't happen, is when Illinois beats that ass, or even if y'all win, y'all get ranked behind some of these teams. Like, you think you'll get ranked ahead of Clemson or Tennessee final rankings?
Yes.
Okay.
South Carolina will definitely get ranked ahead of Clemson in the final rankings. They beat them, and South Carolina's going to have a better overall. We'll be 10-3.
Forgot that, Rob.
They're 10-4.
I forgot that, Rob. Forgot that head-to-head play. Anyway,
that little thing. We play in a tougher conference. Playing a conference that actually wins some of its bowl games.
Hey, if y'all want to really hear, I've been off and on today. I've been off and on listening to Kangaroo Black Day. If you want to really hear some Ohio State fans over there just chirping their head off, he's hilarious. But anyway, let me get off here.
Was he doing a live show?
He does lives all the time.
I don't know. I don't watch his stuff.
He's up to about 20,000 subscribers.
Well, that's good for him.
Oh, it's
I've been toiling around over here with 13 for years.
You'll get there.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's what they've been telling me. I can't get over the hump, so I don't know.
Well, you
Jackpot,
got
have
to
you
get.
seen the Commanders jerseys that they wear? They're wearing the all like red tonight. They look like they could suit up for the old CCCP. Like they look like they're just in flat Russian uniforms. Look at the uniforms they're wearing against Atlanta.
It's different.
Very different.
Also, it's like Florida State colors.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
up too, by the way. I have a prop bet on one of their players to have 40 yards receiving. I don't think he's going to get there. Will be their tight end, Zach Ertz. Spencer Rattler made me some money today. Shout out to Spence. Went over. I think Ertz just caught that one, by the way, though. Spence went over 190 yards passing today. Lost, but still went over 190 yards passing, so he made me some money.
Look at Peckerhead's brother over here, Chris Knight, chirping at me.
What's he got to say?
Something about a retirement home or something.
He's got a lot of time on his hands. Yeah, he's also got applesauce on him. He's being retired in the nursing home. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, man.
Although 2025 brings me to my 70th year on this face of this earth, so.
Well, happy birthday, Pops. That's
July. Tennessee was overrated. Okay.
fuck. But you're random as
well,
shit.
it kind of
Billy.
worked. They look like it, and they're let's just be honest. Well, with all that crap they talked in that game against Ohio State, them losing that running back, that shouldn't have just taken away their entire ability to move the football, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
Balanced teams are able to overcome stuff like that.
That's true. And they should have, and you'll never hear me cry about, well, we didn't have this player or this player opted out. For all those people that's going to use the opt-out criteria or whatever, the team that's in the bowl game coming up or in the playoffs, those players that are playing, it won't be in the playoffs, but the bowl games that are crying opt-out, in August, those players that were playing next week will be your starters. So stop it. They'll be starters come August. 8 months. They'll be starters.
Well, some of them, unless they hit the spring transfer portal, or they get replaced by people that come in from the portal, or get beat out by somebody that's already there, or that's not necessarily true.
But
it gives you a little bit of a glimpse into the future, but it's not full on look.
Unless they get somebody from the portal, you're right. But basically, please tell me that a coach brought somebody on the team and brought them to the bowl game and put them on that team and didn't want to put them out on the field. They're there for a reason. Next man up. And like I say, 80% of the teams that screen this, we got opt-outs. Those players on the field next week will basically be your starters in August. Basically be your starters. So
that's a good way to end it, Billy.
All right. But
Wayne says, and y'all played who in the playoffs again? Nobody. Just count about like y'all. You didn't play anybody either.
Tom, welcome to the program. Tom, this is where you speak, sir. Hello, Tom. Jackpot, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
All right. Well, I don't know what Tom's problem is.
He's probably got bad reception going on or something.
I don't know.
Sometimes he gets out there in the middle of nowhere and you can't hear.
It says they'll need to reconnect their mic or cam beforehand. All right. So there you go. Jackpot. I think we've had a good show. Make sure you get your picks in. The first form is good through tomorrow between Missouri and
Iowa.
That's right.
The children of the corn.
Children of the corn. Very good.
Yeah. That's how that works. Your new form starts tomorrow.
Now, There'll be a third form that comes out after that, which will have the semifinal games. There'll only be 2 games on that form. So there you go. I'll run up the standings tomorrow after the first game, after the Missouri game. We'll do a reset on the standings, see where everybody's at, and that way you guys can keep track of it. All right, Jackpot, you got anything else?
I don't. I hope you get to feeling better. In all seriousness, AIDS is tough to shake.
Thanks, Jackpot.
That AIDS is a bitch.
Oh, we're not doing a show Wednesday night. New Year's Eve. We're not doing a show Wednesday night. Is that what night is that? Wednesday.
Well, you got playoff games going on that night too. Everybody's going to be watching playoff games.
Yeah, so the playoff. We're not going to do a show on Wednesday night. There's playoff games, and it's New Year's Eve, New Year's night. So we're not doing it. We'll see you guys again next Sunday. That's what we'll do on the show. All right, we'll see you guys later on.